I'll do Russian last. Yeah. Yep, got it. Okay, let me go ahead and call the interpreter at this time.
This one.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is the Spanish interpreter.
Hi, good morning. Have you previously been sworn?
No, I have not.
Oh. Oh, it's not. All right. Ma'am, could you raise your right hand to be sworn in? This is the interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Spanish to English, from English to Spanish, the whole truth and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, to the best of my ability, Laura Royal State Certified Interpreter.
Thank you.
All right. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Jeffrey Rivera Cruz. Jeffrey Rivera Cruz.
Jeffrey Rivera Cruz.
Mr. Cruz, you were arrested in 20 MM 3283 for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Rivera Cruz?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right. Ma'am, do you need the services of the interpreter?
No,
Okay. Do you want to have contact with Mr. Rivera Cruz?
no,
Thank you. Mr. Rivera Cruz, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
no,
I'm asking Mr. Rivera Cruz.
No.
All right, sir. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500, and I'm not going to take any action on the Osceola County case. Thank you.
Do you want us to put our name on the record while we're waiting?
Sure. Could I have the state and the public defender place their appearances on the record, please?
Elaine Fusco, State Attorney's Office.
You shall follow the Office of Public Defender.
Thank you. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Carlos Rolando Romero. Rolando Romero.
Carlos Rolando Romero.
Sir, this is case number 15 CF14. You failed to appear for arraignment back on March 15th of 2015. At this time, your bond on count 1 is going to be $1,000. Bond on count 2, 100. Bond on count 3, 100. Bond on count 4, 100. Thank you.
Your Honor, he has an ICE detainer as well.
All right, sir, you also have an immigration hold, so you won't be able to bond out until that immigration detainer has been lifted.
Your Honor,
Is that the last one?
Your Honor, the next person, Mendoza, he's on the out-of-county and the status hearing docket.
Yes, okay. It appears to me it's the same case, though. This case number is the same as the out-of-county case number on the add-on docket?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Jeffrey Menendez Novoa. Menendez Novoa.
Jeffrey Melendez Novoa.
Sir, you are here for an out-of-county case from Osceola County. At this time, sir, your bond is to remain at none per Judge Wooten. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and they can coordinate your case with the attorney down in Osceola County.
They did have them both places in the case number.
Who's in the courtroom this morning for pretrial?
This is Lindsay. Good morning, Your Honor.
Hi, good morning. Lindsay, can you just verify for me that it's just one case for Mr. Mendez Nova? The only case number I have is 17 CF 1499, which is the add-on Osceola case, and then that's also the case on the add-on docket.
Okay, so it is the same case number, but it looks like he's here on a warrant as well as an on-view violation
For Orange County cases?
for Osceola. He's on probation in Osceola County.
Okay.
It looks like the on-view was just closed out because the warrant was served. So now he is simply here on the warrant for Osceola County, the violation.
Okay. But he was already seen at initial appearance on that case, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then that doesn't need to be addressed. Okay, thank you, sir.
It's not that, it's that.
All right, is that the only last Spanish? There's Russian. Good. All right, and that's the end of the Spanish cases. Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You gonna do the Russian last, you said, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the move ups first.
We're gonna do the move-ups first.
Yes, please.
The move-ups first. Your Honor, the first person on the move-ups, Brian Evans, is medical.
All right, I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Evans. Ms. Fowler, do you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. That's 20 CF 2048. He was arrested for non-view violation of probation based upon his arrests in 20 MM 3295, possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause, as well as 20 CO 389 for possession of alcohol on the sidewalk. There's also probable cause for that offense. Bond on the 3295 will be 500. He'll be ROR'd on CO 389, and bond on the violation of probation is going to be set at $1,000. He's to report to probation within 24 hours of his release from the jail. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Casey Cherry.
Mr. Cherry, this is 20 CF 5039. You were arrested for attempted burglary of an occupied dwelling pursuant to a warrant. Your bond in that case is set at $2,500. You're not to return to the scene, and you're not to have contact with the victim.
Yes, ma'am.
You also were arrested in 20 CF 5509 for armed robbery with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you in that case. You're not to return to the Greyhound bus station. You're not to possess any weapons, and you're not to have any contact with the victim. Your bond is going to be $5,000, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Your name?
Tokel Denzel Coleman.
Mr. Coleman, you were arrested in 20 CF 5490 for possession of ecstasy, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting officer without violence.
Yes, ma'am, but at the same time, ma'am, they had a lot of information wrong. They also was wearing...
Mr. Coleman, listen, Mr. Coleman, I'm going to stop you, okay? I'm not saying whatever's in the police report is true. I'm telling you why you were arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? You'll have to talk to your lawyer about the facts of the case. All right?
Okay.
Mr. Coleman, at this time, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You are to attend all court dates and maintain contact with your lawyer, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Davenport, is not coming due to behavior.
Okay. I'm going to find a waiver of Mr. Davenport's appearance based upon his inability to come to court due to his behavior in 20 CF 5505. He was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent him. He is not to have any contact with the victim or return to the scene, possess any weapons or firearms. Bond is $2,500.
Your Honor, he also has 4 detainers for open cases.
Mr. Davenport does?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, could you give me the case numbers?
Absolutely. The first one is 2019 MM010009. Second one is 2019 MM002635. Third is 2016 CF 03164. And the fourth is 2017 CF 005226.
Okay. What are the letters on the end of the MM cases?
It's AO on all of them.
Okay. What's the first case number again? 19 MM.
19 MM 010009 AO.
Okay. So it looks like these are all competency cases in 19 MM 10009 and 19 MM 2635. I'm not going to take any action on either of those cases. But in 16 CF 3164 and 17 CF 5226, I'm going to revoke the conditional release in both of those cases. Bond will be set at none. Those are both set in front of Judge Barber, who I will send an email to letting her know that he is here. It doesn't look like he's been evaluated since October of last year. So I don't know what she's going to want to do on those cases, but I think that those cases are better handled in the division. Did I give you this paperwork back already? Nope, right here. All right, and is Mr. Garcia next?
Your Honor, he refused court.
Okay. And that's 20 CF 5331. I'm going to find a waiver of Mr. Garcia's appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. He was arrested for dealing in stolen property, receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification and petty theft. This was pursuant to a warrant. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. He's not to return to any pawn shop. Bond on count 1 is $1,000. Bond on count 2, $150. Bond on count 3, $150. How about Mr. Hall? Good morning. Are you Mr. Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. You are here in 20 CF 5498. You were arrested for grand theft, 3rd degree. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in all your cases this morning. Sir, you're not to return to the Home Depot. You also have case number 20 CT 2884. You were arrested for driving while license suspended. Your bond is $100 in that case. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. I am revoking your bond in all the out on bond cases, sir. Those will be set at none. Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Jason Willie, bonded.
Okay. On all 4 of his cases?
All I know is he bonded. Can you check? We'll check in.
Thank you.
It looks like he is in the process of posting bond on all his cases.
Okay. Good morning. Your name, sir?
Anthony Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, this is 20 CF 5469. You were arrested for grand theft, 3rd degree, pursuant to a warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, you are not to return to the venue.
What is the venue? What is the
It's 578 North Orange Avenue, sir.
5, 7?
Your bond is $1,000. Thank you.
All right.
Good morning, your name? You Mr. Hatch? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You are here in case number 20MM109. You were arrested for trespass in an occupied structure or a conveyance. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Hatch, did you want to enter a plea on your case this morning?
Your Honor,
Yes.
there are competency issues.
Oh, okay. All right, then, Mr. Hatch, your lawyer informed me there's some additional issues that may be involved with your case that they want to be able to look into. So at this time, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You're not allowed to return to the 7-Eleven, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Onyx Vargas.
Mr. Vargas, you are here in 20 MM 3297. You were arrested for petty theft and trespass in an occupied structure. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Vargas, did you want to enter a plea on your case today?
What does the state have to offer?
Ms. Fusco, do you have an offer on the case?
All of them up here.
I would not, Your Honor, as it's enhanceable and there's at least one prior.
All right, Mr. Vargas, you are not to return to 7-Eleven. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just a second, please. I'm going to look at something else. Mr. Vargas, you also have an out on bond case where you are been charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. Did you want to enter a plea to that case this morning?
I have court on the 14th.
May 14th, correct?
Correct.
But would you like to take care of it today?
What would be the offer, Your Honor?
Credit time served.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's 20 MM 964. I didn't see the CO case.
I told you it was for the next case.
Yeah. This says 964.
Your Honor, he has 2 detainers. The CO case that they're referencing was an add-on this morning. He's also out on PTR for 2019 CO 001183.
Okay, so Mr. Vargas, do you want to enter a plea to both the county ordinance case and the misdemeanor case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you have a chance to review the plea form?
No, Your Honor.
All right, just take a moment and review the form for me.
I'm sorry, could I get the name of the county ordinance, the case number?
And Your Honor, question?
Mr. Vargas, do you have any questions about any of the rights on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am, actually. I will be getting credit for time served for the city ordinance and the paraphernalia
That's correct.
and an auto.
But do you have any questions about anything that you read on the plea form?
Oh, no, Your Honor.
All right, and are you on probation, Mr. Vargas?
No, ma'am.
All right, and you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea would subject you to deportation?
I'm a U.S. citizen.
All right, sir. At this time, on both cases, 19 CO 1183 and 20 MM 964, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty. Do you have this time served by any chance? Okay. I'm going to sentence you to whatever credit for time that you've spent in the jail on each of the cases. You will have to pay court costs. Those are going to be due by May 6th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Rivera Santiago, will not be coming due to medical.
Okay. Miss Fowler, I am going to appoint your office, even though it's an Osceola County case. Do you want to waive his appearance?
Your Honor.
Okay. So on the capias, on the felony matter, I did have a chance to speak with Judge Tynan this morning, and I am going to set bond. Bond on count 1 is going to be set at $1,500. Bond on count 2 is going to be $150. Bond on count 3 will be $100. And then on the misdemeanor traffic cases, 18 CT 483, I did speak with Judge Janswitz. I'm going to release him on his own recognizance on that case, as well as 18 CT 483. Actually, it's 849, 18 CT 849. And then he's to contact his lawyer within 24 hours of his release from the jail. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Joshua Cummins.
Mr. Cummings, you're here in 20 CF 5443. You were arrested for tampering with physical evidence and petty theft. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, you're not to return to the 7-Eleven. And I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You're to maintain contact with your lawyer and attend all court appearances, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Am I gonna get paperwork for this stuff?
Pardon me?
Am I gonna get paperwork for this stuff and directions?
You will.
To go
You
pick up my
definitely will.
personal belongings?
When you are released, they'll give you an order of what happened today in court.
And but what about personal belongings that they got when I first got arrested?
Yes, you'll get that.
They should give you your things back, sir. Yes, thank you.
Come on.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
Lackington Cunningham.
Sir, you were here for an out-of-county warrant out of Marion County. At this time, your bond is set in the amount of $5,000 on count 1 and $1,000 on count 2. I am going to appoint the Orange County Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because they're not transporting the inmates between the jails at this time, so they might be able to assist you with your case and coordinate with Marion County if needed.
Yes, ma'am.
So that form right there, that piece of paper you have, has the contact information for the Orange County Public Defender's Office.
Can I please know my charges? What my charges are?
It is count 1's burglary of a dwelling and count 2 is petty theft.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any additional information on the teletype. So like I said, get in contact with the Orange County Public Defender's Office and they should be able to assist you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Come on, Johnson.
Carlos Johnson is on the reset and also on the misdemeanor arraignment docket, Your Honor.
Okay, just 1 second. Is this still on the move up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But he was on the docket 2 times for the reset and the misdemeanor arraignment traffic.
All right, just 1 second. Mr. Johnson and misdemeanor arraignment. Got it. Okay. All right, good morning, Mr. Johnson.
How you doing, ma'am?
Good, thank you. You have, well, looks like you've got 3 cases this morning. Okay, so your first case is 19 CF 13023. You failed to appear at a status hearing. At this time, your bond is set at none, sir. And in 18 MM 10224, you failed to appear at a status hearing on your violation of probation. Bond in that case is set at none as well. Mr. Johnson, I have reached out to each of the judges that are assigned to these cases to see if they'd like to set a bond. If I do hear back from them and they'd like to set a bond, I'll enter an order on each of the cases. Otherwise, your lawyer will have to file a motion. It looks like the arraignment case that we have is actually that VOP. So in the event that Judge Cameron doesn't want to set a bond, Ms. Fowler, do you want to go ahead and enter a denial and we'll give him a court date?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Where is, do you have that form? Division 62?
Yes. Division 62, VOP status, June 22nd at 8:30, courtroom 9B.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
The next person on the docket, Your Honor, Nicole McKelly, mental health.
All right, Ms. Fowler, do you want to, I'm going to appoint your office. Do you want to waive her appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Looks like she was reset from yesterday as well. So I'm going to go ahead and release her on her own recognizance in 20 MM 3264 and 20 MO 536. She's to maintain contact with her lawyer and appear at all court dates. Are you Mr. Santana?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is case number 20 CF 4569. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for
I called it there.
aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery.
No, that was a battery. I don't know why they pulled a deadly weapon.
Sir, listen to me. Listen to me. I don't want you to talk to me about the facts of your case, okay? I'm just telling you what you were arrested for. I'm not saying that it's true. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim or return to the scene. You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond is set at $2,500 on count 1 and $100 on count 2. Thank you, sir. Signature. Oh, okay, sure. Jill, do you have my stamp? Thank you. All right. Good morning, are you Mr. Thompson?
Morning.
Sir, this is 20 MO 540. You were arrested for open container. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, are you making an offer on this case?
Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, credit time served, court costs.
All right. Mr. Thompson, do you want to enter a plea? The offer is credit time served.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you have a chance to review the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You have any questions on anything that you read?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Thompson, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You will have to pay court costs, which are due by May 6th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And then does that conclude the move-ups?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the next person on the move-up docket is Larry Frederick. He refused.
Okay, so all of these arraignments are move-up arraignments, is that
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Got it, okay. Mr. Frederick is 20 MM 2773. I'm finding a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. Ms. Fowler, do you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Division, needs to be reassigned.
Division 82, pretrial conference, July 6th at 10:30, courtroom 10B.
All right. Good morning, ma'am. Your name?
June Ann Hall, Jumbo Jr., Leonard.
Yep. This is 20 MM 2733, your arraignment for the offense of trespass on property other than a structure or a conveyance. Ms. Fowler, how would she like to proceed?
Honor, she can resolve her case today. She has an offer of adjudication of guilt, 26 days. Court cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department, $104. No return to the Mill Creek Apartments, and abide by the trespass warning.
All right. Ms. Howell, did you want to enter a plea on your case this morning?
Innocent. Yeah, I'm innocent now. I mean, I paid 6-7 weeks here. You know, I'll pay the bond. I told the guy, my sunshine represent payee is my
Yes.
represent payee. They take care of my disability check saved. And you could call them and tell them the amount of the bail bond, and I will pay it. You can
Ma'am,
have
you'll
it.
have to, that's something that you'd have to ask your lawyer to help you with. So today your choices are twofold. You can either plead not guilty and I'll give you another court date and you can try to have your lawyer help you with the bond. Or two, you can accept the state's offer, plead no contest, and you'd be sentenced to credit for time served. What would you like to do?
Is that mean I could go on credit? What if, how can I leave today?
You would have to enter a plea.
I enter a plea then.
Okay. Ms. Howell, are you on probation?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
She's not. Okay. Ms. Howell, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 26 days in jail. You've got credit for 26 days time served. You're going to have to pay court costs, including the cost of investigation of $104 to the Orlando Police Department. You are not to return to the Mill Creek Apartments.
Okay.
Your court costs are due by May 6th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal, ma'am. Thank you.
What, can I leave today?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
And can I get a bill and I'll send you the money?
Ma'am, you don't have to post any bond. Your case is over.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Hugo Pinella, refused court.
All right, I'm going to find a waiver of Mr. Pinella's appearance in 20 MM 2205 based upon his refusal to come to court. Ms. Fowler, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Your Honor.
Division 85, pretrial conference, June 8th at 8:30, courtroom 4A.
All right.
I already did it.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
Quan Walker.
Mr. Walker, you are here in 20 MM 2755. This is your arraignment for the offense of resisting officer without violence. Ms. Fusk, was there an offer for Mr. Walker?
You're supposed to do these minutes, but
There was a companion case, Your Honor, this one, so we did.
I'm gonna ask. I think.
I plead not guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Walker, your lawyer at this time has entered a plea of not guilty on your case, and we're going to give you a
Excuse
court
me,
date.
hold on. You speak too fast. Who is my lawyer? I ain't never talked to her, never seen him.
You're represented by the Office of the Public Defender. There's a form there, I think, that the corrections officer can hand you. That way you have the information, and you can get in touch with your lawyer, sir. Could we give Mr. Walker a court date, please?
How am I give it to
Division
somebody I don't
85, pretrial
know? Here to
conference,
see me, bro.
8 at 8:30, courtroom 4A.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Your Honor, are we gonna do the private attorneys next?
What about Asia Davis, Honesty Paul,
Okay,
Terry, Vaughn, Kraus?
those are the
Are those
arraignments.
move ups?
No,
for
those
regular
are the
arraignments?
arraignments. Those are the arraignments.
Got it. Okay. Yes, then we'll do the private attorneys now.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Glover Gambles. How are you?
I'm good, Your Honor.
Tell me who you're representing.
Sandy King.
All right. Mr. King, you are here in 20 CF 5485. You were arrested for driving while license suspended or revoked as a habitual offender. There's probable cause, sir. Ms. Glover Gambles, did you want to be heard on bond?
I want to be heard, Your Honor, on the out on bond case.
Sure.
Okay, Mr. King has resided in Orange County for more than 30 years, Your Honor. I will be representing him He has a wife, 4 children who also reside with him. He is gainfully employed. He will return to court, Your Honor, and I'll assist him in trying to straighten out the driving problem that he has. I would ask that the court not revoke his bond on the out on bond case, but consider perhaps giving him a higher bond on the new case, Your Honor. On the old case, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Oh, he's gonna be in the felony. Right, on 20 CF 5485, I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $500. And in 20 CF 2126, I'm not gonna take any action at all on the out on bond case. But Mr. King, you cannot drive without a valid driver's license. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because if I see you back here on a driving with license suspended, I'm gonna have to revoke the bond.
Understood.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Morning, Your Honor. I'm Michael.
Mr. Leffey, just give me 1 second. Is this Mr. Schroeder?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, this is 20 CF 5466. Mr. Leffey, would you just place your appearance on the record, please?
Your Honor, I'm Michael LaFay, and I've been retained to represent Mr. Schroeder, but only for purposes of the investigation. So I'd just like the court to note that, but I'm also here, of course, for his first appearance.
Okay. He was arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for third-degree felony murder in possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard at all?
Your Honor, just to say that the defendant set up the drug deal, supplied the drugs, freely drove them to and from the location where the victim was shot and killed. And there's digital evidence obtained from the victim's phone showing communications between the victim and the defendant. And the defendant was also the owner of the vehicle seen by witnesses. We asked the court to find proof evident or presumption great and hold him with no bond.
Mr. Leffey, did you want to be heard?
I would, Your Honor. First, my reading of the third-degree murder statute is I believe it's a second-degree felony. I'm not mistaken. And that is, it charges Mr. Schroeder with being present while someone else did the killing without any intention to affect the death of the victim. So I get it that they're enhancing this because in this case, the passenger had a firearm, and they can vicariously, if they can prove, and I noted in the recitation of facts, I've not seen the arrest warrant, but of course, I'm going to guess that there's no evidence that Mr. Schroeder knew about the firearm, which is something they'd have to prove to enhance it. But even spotting him the enhancement, that's a first-degree felony. He's entitled to bond. I don't see an Arthur hearing on a first-degree felony. So I think we're just sort of in the on the issue of how much bond should be set.
I'm just gonna.
It's the felony murder aspect of it, Your Honor, that
Well, third-degree murder, felony murder. Again, the death being affected by someone else without any intention on Mr. Schroeder's part to commit the homicide. Third-degree murder, I mean, I'll check it again, but my read is a second-degree felony. I'm always ready to stand corrected, but
I'm not exactly sure myself. The only part that I'm unsure of is the addition of the felony murder part. I agree with you on the classification of the third degree murder and the firearm enhancement, but I'm just not sure how the felony murder ties into that.
well, third-degree murder is felony murder. It just means that they were not engaged in committing the laundry list of what Florida holds to be violent crimes. That is to say, aggravated assault, robbery, et cetera, et cetera. So if we look at murder in the third degree, which is here, 782.04, paren 4, is murder in the third degree and constitutes a felony of the second degree. So, which in this book, well, I'm looking at a 2018 book, so my pages wouldn't correspond.
Do you want another 2018 one?
I'd like to read it twice. But suffice it to say that with the enhancement, this is a first-degree felony.
Now, I agree with Mr. LaFay. It's exempted out of the statute. So that's exactly what the felony murder is. It's not one of the enumerated felonies listed in the statute. So I think it's a first degree felony, punishable by up to 30 would be what I think it would be. So I think Mr. Schroeder would be entitled to bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. I can give the court a proffer of Mr. Schroeder's circumstances or have him testify to them.
Sure, go ahead, Mr. LaFay.
Your Honor, Mr. Schroeder turned himself in. I was notified of the warrant by the investigating detective. He turned himself in the following day. My message actually from the hardworking Detective Sharp was at 8:40 p.m. on Monday. So he turned himself in, I believe, yesterday. Mr. Schroeder is employed at Busch Gardens. He's laid off because of the COVID epidemic or pandemic. He has no prior record whatsoever. He's 19. Again, and on the facts, the killing was committed by the passenger in what I can describe as a drug ripoff of the passenger, which puts us in the third-degree murder situation. But if testifying, Mr. Schroeder would say that he's expended the bulk of his savings on retaining counsel. He does have between $1,000 and $1,500 for bond, and I would ask for a bond of either $10,000 or $15,000, or between. His entire family also lives in, he's lived practically his entire life in Orange County. He would be staying with his grandmother if released, and she lives at, what address?
5205 2nd Street.
In Orlando?
Orlando, Florida.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to recheck the weapon statute as well. So even with the enhancement, if it's a felony of the second degree, it only enhances it to a felony of the first degree. And then when you look at what the punishment would be, it's not a first degree life felony, it's a first degree felony punishable by up to 30. So that is correct. I just have a couple of questions. I think you answered them. Mr. Schroeder, you're going to be living with your grandmother,
Yes, ma'am.
and that's in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the address?
5205 2nd Street, Orlando, Florida.
Does Mr. Schroeder have a passport?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Schroeder, you are going to need to surrender that within 24 hours of your release. Mr. LaFay, could he bring that to your office?
He can, and I'll turn it into the registry of the court, Your Honor.
Okay. So you have to surrender that within 24 hours of your release from the jail to your attorney, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Condition-wise, you're not to have any contact with any of the witnesses in this case. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. You're not to have any contact with the victim's family members. You're not to have any contact with any of the co-defendants. And then taking into consideration the facts contained in the affidavit, along with the fact that Mr. Schroeder did turn himself in, I'm going to set bond on count 1 at $15,000. Bond on count 2 is going to be set at $150.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor.
Good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Isaiah Smalls.
All right. And Mr. LaFay, you're representing Mr. Smalls as well?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay. This is case number 20 CF 5487. Mr. Smalls, you were arrested for trafficking in cocaine greater than 200 grams but less than 400, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, fleeing and attempting to elude, and resisting officer without violence.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. LaFay, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
I did, Your Honor, and also with regard to probable cause. I note that the the charging affidavit that the court has, and I'd address first the count of fleeing and attempting to elude. It details that Mr. Small's vehicle was backed up against, quote unquote, the northern wall. Then it says that a car, the first police car, apparently unmarked, pulled in front of him, and the car moved backwards, apparently against the wall, and then forward. But then was immediately blocked in by a second police car. I get it that there was some forward movement of a foot or two, but the fleeing and eluding statute would contemplate fleeing, and while you're fleeing, attempting to elude the police, there has to be flight. I don't think moving, I think if you're still in your parking space, I don't think that's going to cut it, no matter how ambitiously and expansively you read that statute.
All right, Ms. Fusco, did you want to respond?
And I had a second argument, Your Honor, on the trafficking.
Sure, I'll let Ms. Fusco respond first to the fleeing
Thank you.
count.
Your Honor, didn't he also begin to flee on foot?
Well, that would not be covered under the fleeing and eluding statute. That's a resisting officer without violence.
The other mention is just the move forward in an attempt to flee the traffic stop. Turn our level lines down.
Ms. Lefay, I can't hear you.
There is a note that he attempted to move forward in an attempt to flee the traffic stop. And it was then that the other car with lights blocked him. But he was attempting to flee before he was blocked.
Okay. Mr. Lefay, I think that the facts do meet the low threshold of probable cause. I'll certainly take it into consideration when setting the bond. Whether the state can prove it, I don't know. But I think it meets the probable cause standard.
Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to the trafficking, I've taken the liberty of adding up the amounts of cocaine, and I got 204 grams, 204.3 grams total. I noted that the police report contained a reference to not all the plastic bags or packaging, but certainly 31 plastic baggies. That said, in the history of, well, every local police department, but specifically the Orange County Sheriff's Office, they have never made a weight without weighing the packaging. They don't remove the stuff from the bags. They don't touch the bags particularly for obvious evidentiary reasons. So I would say that the 204.3 grams contains the weight of at least 31 plastic baggies, if not more. And I'd say that they just, given that, would not have the 200 grams or more.
Ms. Fusco?
Your Honor, based on the facts in the affidavit, it's clearly a trafficking case, and the police used proper procedures, and the amount weighed is in excess of the 200 grams as required.
Again, Mr. Lefay, if I just go based upon the information that's contained within the probable cause affidavit, what's written there is the 204 grams. I don't know. They don't put in there how they weighed it or what they did. But again, I will take your argument into consideration when setting the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
I also have some arguments on bond for Mr. Smalls.
Sure. So just to be clear on the record, counts 1 through 4, the court does find probable cause. Go ahead on bond, Mr. Lefay.
Your Honor, Mr. Smalls has lived in Orlando his entire life. A read of the police report would see he's a little bit low on funds at this point in time, but he is married to one Crystal Kelly. Miss Kelly works at Popeyes and Churches.
Yeah.
She has
got 2 jobs.
She has 2 jobs. Miss Kelly has approximately $2,000 in savings to give to a bondsman, so therefore my request of $20,000 bond. I'd also note that Mr. Smalls, whatever his history is, has never failed to appear for court. I have looked at, first, I've represented Mr. Smalls in the past, so he's always made his appearances. Second, I've went through the court docket sheets on myorangecourt.com. I didn't see any failure to appears. I went back to 2004.
Okay. Yeah, only one that I have on the face sheet that I'm looking at is from 2001, which maybe would explain why you didn't see it, but he only has the one failure to appear from 2001.
So, and I mean, while there may be multiple arrests, they're primarily for possessions of cocaine. That is, I would say, I noted some convictions for possessions of cocaine, and I think an attempted sale in 2016, and that's it. Going back to 2004. So I would say not, certainly some prior record, but there's no evidence that he would be a flight risk, given the multiple appearances that he's made. And of course, these are nonviolent. His record is strictly for nonviolent possessions of cocaine and the attempted sale.
All right. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, he does have 12 felony convictions, 3 misdemeanors, and the one failure to appear, and based on the nature of the charge, the cash and value of the drugs found at the time, and we argue that the bond should be stayed at current.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut off the state, but I went back to 2004. I have a total of 4 possessions of cocaine and an attempted sale. Now, I don't know if there was something before that again. How old are you? 40. 2004. So, well, I guess 2004 would put Mr. Smalls at 24-ish. So there may have been something before that I didn't see.
All right. Mr. Smalls, you are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Going to set bond on count 1 at $20,000. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $150. Bond on count 4 is $100. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. If I could be excused.
Well, you may. Thank you. Have a good day. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Well, I think it's actually afternoon. For the record, I'm Victor Mead. I'm representing Mr. Shellmeyer, standing to my left.
All right, Mr. Shellmeyer, this is 20 CF 54220. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for burglary with an assault or battery, aggravated stalking, aggravated battery, 2 counts of battery, and criminal mischief. Ms. Fusco, were you asking to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The state asked the court to consider all the information in the arrest affidavit, including that the defendant sent threatening text to the victim and he knew what the victim was wearing. He forcefully entered their home and kicked and struck the victims and threw objects at them. Law enforcement collected evidence, including the following: collected images of the text by the defendant, a shoe belonging to the defendant that he threw while it was in the home that was still in the home, a picture of the license plate of the car registered to the defendant as it left the scene, and there was also a third-party witness that gave a statement. The state argues that there is proof evident or presumption great because the defendant forcefully entered the residence of the victim and committed a battery of the victims while therein, and asked that the defendant be held without bond.
Mr. Mead?
Your Honor, again, we have now been favored with a arrest affidavit or warrant or anything like that. We haven't been able to get one. But I think there's the problem we have that obviously these two know each other. The victim is the former husband of the defendant's fiance. So there's that going on. In the text going back and forth, the victim was aware and invited the defendant to come over to his house. So I would submit that there's no evidence to indicate that my client had weapons, firearms or anything like that, and that the proof is not evident, and that he committed a burglary battery therein. In fact, I think the evidence would show that he actually suffered injuries from the victim, the alleged victim, and his brother.
Yeah. Your Honor, there's no allegation of the weapon. It's just a burglary with a battery, and the texts that she mentioned are certainly not within the 4 corners of the affidavit.
I don't think that the facts that are contained within the probable cause affidavit for arrest rise to the standard of proof evident or presumption grade. There's also a witness that is contained within the affidavit who says that they did not observe any physical contact, but noted there was tension between the subjects. So I think what I have in front of me today does not rise to the level of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So I'm going to set bond for Mr. Shellmeyer. Mr. Mead, did you want to offer any information with respect to bond?
Sure. My client has, I don't believe, any prior criminal record. He's 43 years old. He is has a college graduate. He's got 2 MBAs from the University of Iowa. He resides with his fiancee. I'm positive this court is going to say no contact between defendant and the victim, but the victim's children, they have a time-sharing arrangement, and the victim's kids go back and forth, living with his fiancee where he lives, back and forth. So I'm asking the court to allow him to have contact, let the children, when they're on a 50-50 time-sharing thing, so that you don't, if the court said he could have no contact with the victim or any members of his family, he could not reside with his fiancee. And there's no allegations that children are involved here.
Mr. Mead, I just want to make sure I understand the relationship of the children to Mr. Shellmeyer.
The fiance, Dr. Rivera, and the victim have children together. And they have a 50-50 time-sharing schedule. So half the time, they're at his fiance's house where he resides. That's all.
Right. So,
Your Honor, we would like to have a third party arrange for the exchange of the children.
well, I don't think a third party is necessary because they're not Mr. Shellmeyer's kids and the victim's children. It's Mr. Shellmeyer's fiance, correct?
Yeah, Mr. Shellmeyer's not going to be picking up the kids or anything like that.
Right.
Just they stay at the same house, that's all.
Right. So as long as Mr. Shellmeyer doesn't have any contact with the victim during the
Right.
children exchange, it shouldn't be an issue.
He will have no contact, no involvement with that.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Mead, with respect to bond information?
Mr. Shellmeyer is currently unemployed, and just ask the court to take that in consideration, because the other bonds, he's got about $6,000 in bonds already on the other counts, and he's on no bond on the aggravated stalking and the burglary with an assault therein.
Okay. Mr. Shellmeyer, does Mr. Shellmeyer have a passport?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how long has Mr. Shellmeyer lived here in Central Florida?
Since 2014, he lives here, his son lives here, and his parents live here.
Okay. What does Mr. Shellmeyer normally do for work?
He's a hospital administrator. His last job was with Florida Hospital.
All right, so I'm going to do the conditions first. Mr. Shellmeyer, you need to surrender your passport within 24 hours of your release to Mr. Mead, and then Mr. Mead, you can
I'll take care of it.
deposit that. Okay. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Do you own any firearms, Mr. Shellmeyer?
I do not.
Okay. You are not to have any contact with the victim in this case or any witnesses. Gonna set bond on count 1 at $15,000. Bond on count 2 will be set at $150,000. 3, 4 will be set at $150,000. 5 and 6 will be set at $100,000, and 7 will be set at $150,000.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Mead?
Thank
No,
you.
Your Honor, thank you for your consideration.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
we're getting ready to start the arraignments.
Okay.
The first one on the arraignment, James Board, he's medical.
I have Asia Davis.
Oh, okay. We have her.
Okay, I didn't have, what was the other one you said?
James Board,
Ford?
Board, B-O-Y-D, Board.
Boyd. Sorry.
That's okay.
Let's see. It's a lot of paperwork today.
I can imagine.
I thought there was another group of those arraignments, but maybe I just, is it a reset maybe?
1 second, it's not a mistake.
Oh, okay.
We'll go back.
All right, I'll do Miss Davis. Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me your name.
Asia Davis?
All right, this is 20MM 2678. This is your arraignment for the offense of battery. You are represented by the public defender. How would you like to proceed, Miss Fowler?
Your Honor, enter a plea of not guilty.
All right, we're going to give you a court date, Miss Davis.
Wait a minute, hold on. Who is Miss Fowler?
Ms. Fowler is the public defender who's present in the courtroom with me today.
Okay, I sent I had Ms. Rimmer, and Ms. Rimmer, I sent her a plea form already about taking, I've been here 28 days already. I mean, there's no way I can put in a plea today of no contest. I'm not understanding what's going on, like how, this is, I sent a plea form in already.
A signed plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me look and see if I can get you some additional information, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Davis, that may be true, and they may be setting your plea very soon, your case very soon for a plea, but I don't have that information in front of me today, so we're going to give you a court date.
I want to ask, is the state there and willing to accept a plea today, right now? Are they willing to right now accept a
Ms.
plea?
Fusco, do you have an offer for Ms. Davis?
Not as it's a battery, Your Honor.
I do not have one today, ma'am, but like I said,
Is there any way I would take if I request the offer? Because I mean, she's not here. She hasn't been responding to my attorney. She's not been responding to anything. Can you ask them if they would accept me to take a year probation right now?
They
I
can
reach out to her attorney.
Yeah. So Ms. Fowler, who's the public defender in court this morning, she's going to reach out to the attorney that's assigned to you to see if they can get your case set for a plea, ma'am, okay? But we'll give you a court date. Go ahead.
Division 50, pre-trial conference, May 21st at 8:30, courtroom 9E.
All right, thank you.
She said, what she say?
Division 50, pre-trial conference, May 21st at 8:30, courtroom 4E.
21st.
May the 21st.
Thank you.
I need that back.
All right, no problem. Good morning, your name?
Honesty Paul.
Ms. Paul, this is 20MM 2708. This is your arraignment for the offense of battery. You are represented by the public defender. How would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, enter a plea of not guilty.
All right. Ms. Paul, we're going to give you a court date, ma'am.
Okay.
Division 85, pre-trial conference, June 8th at 8:30, courtroom 4A.
Thank you. All right. And then, Officer Taylor, what did you tell me about Mr. Boyd?
He's medical, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Fowler, your office represents him. Do you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Medical.
Division 63, pre-trial conference, July 2nd at 8:30, courtroom 12C.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yeah, you're right. It is afternoon. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Terry Depozo Von Kraus.
Mr. Von Kraus, this is 20MM 305, your arraignment for the offense of resisting officer without violence. You're represented by the Office of the Public Defender. Ms. Fowler, how would he like to proceed?
Your Honor, there was no offer due to the fact that there was a companion case on the same date of arrest for the aggravated stalking. That will enter a plea of not guilty.
All right. Mr. Von Kraus, at this time, your attorney has entered a plea of not guilty, and we're going to give you a court date.
Division 63 pretrial conference, July 2nd at 8:30, courtroom 12C.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honor, can I approach the bench?
Sure.
Your Honor, the next person for a motion to. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Disregard.
Okay. Who do I have here?
Anthony Velez.
Mr. Velez, you are here for a child support writ.
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, you're going to be released on your own recognizance. You are going to need to call in for your hearing date, which is going to be June 9th at 9 a.m. You're going to get a copy of this order when you are released from the jail. Just make sure you call in for that date. Otherwise, there'll be a warrant for your arrest.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jerry Forrest.
How about Jason Blount? It's another writ case.
We only have one, Your Honor, on our docket.
Okay, we'll figure that out later. Okay. Good morning, or good afternoon, Mr. Forrest. This is 20 CF 5522. You were arrested for battery on a person 65 years of age or older. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Forrest? Mr. Forrest, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you have any questions for me about the no contact order?
How will I be able to get stuff that I need?
You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir.
You released me on pretrial. What is that?
You're going to be supervised by a pretrial release officer while your case is pending. You're going to have to call in and check in with them. You won't have to pay any money to get out of the jail today.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Afternoon, sir. Your name?
Cedric Harrell.
Mr. Harrell, you were here in 20 CF 4672. You were arrested for burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery, dating violence, and violation of a PTR condition on domestic violence. This was pursuant to a probable cause warrant. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Fusco, did you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was arrested for dating violence battery on March 20th, and pretrial release conditions included a no contact order with the victim. The victim moved to a separate apartment, and on April 15th, the defendant came to the victim's apartment, and when she would not respond to the banging on her doors and windows, he removed the screen and opened the window to the bathroom where she was located. The victim was attempting to keep the defendant from entering, and the defendant's arms were able to partially enter through the window. He grabbed her arms, causing contusions and abrasions to both arms. When the defendant's arms crossed the plane of the window, he unlawfully entered her residence, and when he grabbed and injured her arms, he committed a battery therein. His contact with the victim also violated his condition of release from 3/20/20. We asked the court to find proof evident presumption great and hold the defendant at no bond in the present case. And based on his violation of the condition of release of no contact with the victim in the prior case, we asked the court to revoke his release in that case.
Ms. Fowler?
Your Honor, I would defer the matters to the court.
In this matter, the state has met their burden to establish that there's proof evident or presumption great. Mr. Harrell will remain at no bond as to count 1. Sir, count 2 is $150. Count 3 is $100. And I'm revoking the bond in 20 CF 3756, noting that it's the same victim for which he was already out on pretrial release for. That will be set at none. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Bernard Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, sir, you are here in case number 20 CF 5514. You were arrested for robbery. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have, is there a witness for Mr. Holmes?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Holmes, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need a one-time return with the police to get your things, you may do so.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes doesn't qualify for pretrial?
No, Your Honor, the charge doesn't qualify.
All right, Mr. Holmes, I'm going to set your bond at $500.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Skylar Jones.
Mr. Jones, this is 20 CF 4912. You were arrested for attempted aggravated battery on a pregnant person and battery domestic violence.
The victim
There
is
is-
here, Your Honor.
She's here?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, Mr. Jones. Ma'am, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, tell me your name, please.
Jabria Stafford.
All right, Ms. Stafford, could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in by the clerk?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes,
All right. Ma'am, do you want to have contact with Mr. Jones?
I do.
Are you afraid of him?
I'm not.
Do you have any concerns about your safety or the baby's safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any other children together?
We don't.
Are there any other children in the home?
Not at all.
Ma'am, do you live together? Ma'am?
Yes, we do live together.
Okay. Ms. Fusco?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the nature of the facts in the affidavit and the fact that there's a history of domestic violence not reported, and she had some scratch on the affidavit on the left side of her face from the previous day, we had, and the risk to the pregnancy, we would ask the court to have no contact.
There's no
Ms. Fowler,
history.
did you want to respond?
Your Honor, we just ask for the court to give no hostile contact.
All right. Mr. Jones,
Yes, ma'am.
at this time, I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact. Do you understand what that means?
No, ma'am. Can you explain it, please?
Yes. This means that you are not allowed to argue with her. You cannot disrespect her in any way. You cannot act aggressive toward her in any way. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're also not to possess any weapons or any firearms.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Thank you, sir. Mm-mm. Oh. Bond is at 500 on count 1 and 100 on count 2. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Corey Martin.
Mr. Martin, sir, you are here in 20 CF 4564. You were arrested for battery with one prior pursuant to a probable cause warrant. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Martin?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, tell me your name.
Lucretia Deshay.
All right, Ms. Deshay, please raise your right hand to be sworn in by the clerk.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Deshay, do you want to have contact with Mr. Martin?
Yes.
How long have you been in a relationship?
For a long time.
Give me an estimate.
10 years. Like 10 years, yeah. 10 years.
About 10 years?
Yes.
You have 2 kids together?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any concerns about your safety or your children's safety if I were to allow contact between the 2 of you?
No.
Have there been other instances of violence during the course of your relationship?
What she say? No. Really? Not really. No.
Your Honor, as there's a conviction for a BAT DV and there's arrest for a BAT DV with the same victim and aggravated battery DV with a different victim and other battery arrests, we would ask for no contact.
At this time, I'm going to order, sir, that you're not to have any contact with Ms. Deshay. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things if necessary. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you have any questions about the no contact order, Mr. Martin?
Yes. I wouldn't
What's your question?
I wouldn't like to say like a no hostile because my children. I know I have priors, you know, in the past, but I just, you know, I'm just trying to like, you know, I just want to better myself, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of going through this every other month. I'm tired of going through this. You know what I'm saying, man? It's nothing against my children, nothing against her. I'm just tired of going through everything, and my kids can't see their father all the time. That's all I'm asking, man. No hostile, no nothing. I won't do nothing. I'm just trying to see my kids. That's it. I'm tired of being taken away from my children.
I understand, Mr. Martin, but today, based upon the information that I have, I am
Yes.
ordering no contact. You'll have to have your lawyer file a motion where additional information can be presented to see if the judge wants to modify that order. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay.
But get in contact with the public defender to see if they can get a motion filed regarding the no contact order.
Okay. So,
All right.
Pretrial release, what is that, ma'am? That's
So you'll
my-
be released today, but you're
Okay.
going to have to check in with the pretrial release officer during the pendency of your case.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
For Taff?
Mr. Taft, this is 20 CF 5517. You were arrested for child abuse and battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Taft?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right, who's present?
Janelle Taff, his wife, and his son, Wyatt Taff.
Okay, ma'am, what would you like to tell me?
This is like a first time situation with my son. I have signed not to press charges against my husband. My son initially did not sign to not press charges. He now does not want to press charges against his father.
Ma'am, do you have any concerns about your safety or your son's safety if I were to allow contact between you?
I do not have concerns about my physical safety. The only thing I would ask is no hostile contact with him. I also have a 15-year-old daughter with him.
Do you have concerns about her safety?
I do not have concerns about her safety.
You what?
I do not have concerns about her safety. ma'am.
Is it true that your husband has been abusive towards you and your family for the last 17 years?
Not physical abuse, no, ma'am.
Your Honor, related to that comment in the affidavit of him being abusive for the last 17 years and it getting progressively worse, and the acts related to the son, we would ask that there be no contact at this time.
Can
Go
there-
ahead, ma'am.
Can there be no hostile contact and him not be in our residence until this is settled? Because he does have we have a 15-year-old daughter, and I do want contact. I need contact, with my husband.
And Your Honor, we will ask the court to take into consideration his lack of criminal history also.
Ma'am, have you been contacted by DCF?
I have not been contacted by DCF. I just ask that he gets counseling, we get counseling,
So, ma'am, those are things that I'm not able to order today. You'll have to talk to the state attorney about that. When they contact you regarding the case. What I am going to order today is
It would be detrimental for my daughter, especially, not to have contact with her father.
All right. So what I'm going to order is there's to be no hostile contact between, I'm sorry. Let me. Wyatt, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wyatt, do you want to have contact with your dad?
I want to have I want to see my mom on one weekend and my dad on another weekend.
Okay. Are you afraid of him?
Only when he gets mad.
You what?
When he gets mad.
We would again ask for no contact as to the son, Your Honor.
All right. So at this time, I'm going to order that there is not to be any contact, sir. You are to maintain a separate residence and you're not to possess any weapons or any firearms. I've appointed the public defender's office to represent you. You'll have to have them file a motion to have that order modified.
Is that just contact with my son and myself, not my daughter?
Ma'am, I will modify the order to allow him to have no hostile contact with your daughter.
Okay.
He's not to have any contact with your son.
Okay.
And then,
I can't see him ever.
Not ever. She can modify that, and it can get modified in the future.
that's correct, ma'am. So what you'll have to do is his lawyer can file a motion and they'll have a hearing and you can present additional evidence and information to the court to see if they'll modify that. But it does stay until it's modified in writing.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Taft, do you have any questions about the no contact order, sir?
I do not.
Okay. And then can I place Mr. Taff on pretrial release?
Your Honor, I reference back to the admin order, and we cannot put the child abuse on PTR, but the battery is a qualifying charge.
Your Honor, will the court consider ROR due to his lack of criminal history?
Yeah, I'm going to release Mr. Taff on his own recognizance at this time. Sir, you need to abide by the conditions set by the court, maintain contact with your lawyer, and appear at all court dates.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
JC Carmen.
Ms. Carmen, you were arrested in 20 MM 401 for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Ms. Carmen?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things, you may. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Denisha De Jesus.
Ms. De Jesus, this is 20 MM 3292. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Ms. De Jesus?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
I do. In the statement, it says that we both are living together. That's my residence, though.
Okay, so I can't make him leave there. If he's not there, you can be there. But if he's staying there, you can't be there.
Okay. Okay.
Pre-trial. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Pedro Marquez.
Pardon me?
Pedro Marquez.
Mr. Marquez, this is 20 MM 3279. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Marquez?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes.
Tell me your name, please.
Skylar Baker.
All right, Ms. Baker, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ms. Baker, did you want to have contact with Mr. Marquez? Ms. Baker,
Yes.
did you want to have contact with Mr. Marquez?
Yes, I do.
All right. And do you have children together?
Yes, we have one child together.
Do you have any concerns about your child's safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No.
And you live together?
Yes.
You want to continue living in the same residence? Ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Mr. Marquez, you're not to have any hostile contact with Ms. Baker. Do you understand what that means?
No, ma'am.
It means that you can't argue with her, you can't act disrespectful or aggressive toward her in any way. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You also can't possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Kiara Filbert.
This is 20 MM 3286. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Ms. Filbert?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. We need to return to the residence one time. With law enforcement to get your things, you may. Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Eli Alderby, bonded.
Okay. Good afternoon, your name?
Raheem Ankrum.
Mr. Ingram, this is 20 MM 3271. You were arrested for loitering or prowling. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the airport. You also have 20 CF 5492. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. Bond will be set at $500 in that case, and in the misdemeanor, bond will be set at $100. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Yeah, Caldwell.
Mr. Caldwell, this is case number 20 CF 5504. You were arrested for burglary of a structure, criminal mischief, and loitering or prowling. Miss Fowler?
Yes, Your Honor. I have a probable cause challenge in regards to the burglary of the structure charge. And the affidavit does not state that the defendant actually entered into the building. It states in the affidavit that the police officer observed him attempting to break the door open. So I believe an attempted burglary structure charge would be more appropriate.
Ms. Fusco? Okay. All right, so the court will find probable cause as to count 1, attempted burglary of a structure. Count 2 and 3, there is probable cause for. Ms. Fowler, do you have the statute number for the
Yes.
attempted burglary?
810.07, section 2.
Thank you.
All right, bond on count 1 will be $1,000, bond on count 2, 100, bond on count 3, 100. Mr. Caldwell, you are not to return to 3 North Hastings Street. And I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond case, sir. Thank you.
Your Honor, did you say no action?
Correct. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Willie Clayton.
Mr. Clayton, this is 20 CF 5456. You were arrested for trafficking in methamphetamines greater than 14 grams and possession of methamphetamine. There's probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am. Can I speak?
Sir, I'm going to advise you not to say anything about your case. I'm not saying that everything or anything in the police report is true or accurate. I'm just letting you know what you were arrested for, okay? Bond on count 1 is $7,500. Bond on count 2 is $150. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Your name?
Christopher Cooper.
Mr. Cooper, this is 20 CF 5479. You were arrested for attempted burglary of a conveyance. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene. Your bond, sir, is $1,000. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
I'm sorry.
Your name?
Tell me your name, please.
Stephen Germany.
Mr. Garmany, this is 20 CF 4495. You were arrested for fleeing and eluding pursuant to a probable cause warrant. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm going to set your bond, sir, at $2,500. You also have reporting requirements when you're released from the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Your name?
Gross.
Mr. Gross, this is 20 CF 5477. You were arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to Walmart, sir. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Eric Morris Kenyon.
Mr. Kenyon, this is 20 CF 5497. You were arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to 7-Eleven. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. And I'm not going to revoke your bonds on your out on bond case. Thank you.
ROR.
Good afternoon, sir.
Your Honor,
1 second, Your Honor.
Yes?
action on both of his out on bonds?
No action. That's correct.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your name?
My name is Daniel Loggins.
Mr. Loggins, you're here in 20 CF 5484. You were arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a convenience store, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, tampering with physical evidence, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting officer with violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender in that case and in 20 CF 5495. You were arrested for battering a law enforcement officer and resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause for those offenses as well. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Bond on count 1 is $7,500. Bond on count 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be $150. Bond on count 6 is $100. Bond on count 7 is $100. And in CF 5495, bond will be $150 on count 1, $100 or $150 on count 2.
Your Honor?
And yes?
I apologize. Do you have any paperwork on the no valid driver's license? It's an endorsed bond, but he never went to IA on it.
I don't. I just have an out on bond form for the no valid.
Okay.
Is that case connected to any other case?
No, ma'am.
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. Mr. Loggins, did you want to enter a plea on the no valid driver's license case?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I do. 2020 CT 2329.
What does this mean, clear? I understand what I'm saying to you. sense or whatever, if it's gonna be.
All right, Mr. Loggins, did you have a chance to review that plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
All right, and you're not on probation, are you?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Loggins, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs. Those are due by May 7th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal.
Okay.
All right?
And what about the new one? The new
Well, the new one I set your bonds on, so you have to bond out of jail. All right. Good afternoon, your name?
Orlando's Massa.
Sir, this is 20 CF 5501. You were arrested for possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams. There is probable cause. Actually, there's not probable cause. There's no weight amount contained within the affidavit. I find probable cause for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I'm going to ROR you with respect to that case, sir. You were arrested in 20 CF 4730 pursuant to a warrant to accessory after the fact. Bond in that case is set at $2,500. You're not to have any contact with any of the witnesses in that case. 2,500? And I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond cases. Oh, okay. Just 1 second before you let Mr. Masonat go. Nicole. I don't know. Okay. Lindsay, on the last case, 20 CT 297 AW, can you verify that that's actually Mr. Masonat? Because when I pull that up in Odyssey, it's a different name. I don't know if it's an AKA.
Give me a moment, Your Honor. I'll look into it.
The name that comes up when I pull it up is Lawrence Noble.
It appears that he was booked for that charge, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You're all set, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Guade Moline, Your Honor.
Mr. Moline, you're here in 20 CF 5503. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I am going to release you on your own recognizance. In that case, you're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. In 20 CF 5243, excuse me, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. That was pursuant to a warrant. Bond will be set at $2,500. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, return to the scene, or have any contact with the victim, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Darren Rainey.
Mr. Rainey, this is 20 CF 5496. You were arrested for burglary of a structure, petty theft, and violation of a county ordinance. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the Orlo Vista Elementary School, sir, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Stephen Rivers.
Mr. Rivers, you are here in 20 CF 5465. You are arrested for fleeing and eluding. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Okay.
I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
What does that mean? Pre-trial release? I don't know. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Gabriel Sepulveda.
Tell me your last name again?
Sepulveda.
Sepulveda. So, right. We're missing St. Jean and Scott.
Bonded.
Both of them bonded?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
St. Jean bonded and Scott bonded.
Great. Okay. Thank you. And sir, you're here in 20 CF 5499. You were arrested for failing to redeliver a hired vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Does Mr. Sepulveda qualify for pretrial?
He hasn't been interviewed, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, sir, you are to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release from the jail. You're to appear at all court dates. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Torres Gomez.
Sir, you were arrested in 20 MM 3272 for loitering or prowling. There's probable cause. Bond is $100. You also have 20 CF 5491. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle, providing false ID to law enforcement, and trespass on property after warning. You are not to return to the Orlando International Airport. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 2 is 150 or 100. Bond on count 3 is 100. I'll appoint the public defender in both cases. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Calvin Wells.
Mr. Wells, this is 20 CF 5502. You were arrested for possession of MDMA and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is 500. Your bond on count 2 is 100. And I'm not going to revoke your out on bond cases, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Hi, my name is Jennifer Winning.
Mr. Wenning or Miss Wenning, this is 20 CF 5507. You were arrested for attempted burglary of a conveyance and loitering or prowling. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, ma'am.
Could you just explain to me what that means?
Sure. It means that you're going to be supervised by a pretrial release officer while you are waiting for your case to be resolved in court. It's kind of like probation.
Okay, so like I can like witness like everything and like listen to it, or I have to be in like another room?
Excuse me?
Can I like be in the same room when like when it happens, or do I have to like be outside the room?
Of where?
I think my court case, I think. I was just a little bit confused about what you meant.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't understand your question.
I'm sorry, could you repeat it then? I was a little bit confused. That's why I was, sorry.
Okay. So pretrial release means that you're going to be released from the jail today.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have to pay any money to get out of the jail, but it's similar to probation in that you're going to have to check in with a pretrial release officer while your case is pending in the court system.
Okay, so I recently got kicked out of my house, but on my ID, it shows like where I would live, where I was living before. Would I go and live there now or no? If I spoke to the person who lived there?
Ma'am, you can live wherever.
Okay.
I
I'm
don't
so
have any
sorry.
say in
I'm
where you live.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Defendant Wells was the defendant that you were looking for earlier for the child support writ. Did you want to address that?
I wasn't looking for a Wells. I had a Blount. I don't have a Wells.
Okay. He has a contempt of court as well, so I just wanted to know if you wanted to address it. He's scheduled for tomorrow. I apologize. I thought you called him out earlier for the contempt child support.
I did not.
Okay, disregard, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. What about Miss Wilson?
She bonded, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
How you doing, man? My name is James Shaw. James William
Mr.
Shaw, man.
Shaw, sir, you are here in case number 20 CT 656. You were arrested for driving without a valid driver's license. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, did you want to enter a plea to this case today?
If I go, please, I go home today. I don't want to stay
Yes.
in here. If I go,
No.
I'm gonna go home, man. 'Cause I got kids. I take care of kids. I got two little kids I take care of, man. And I gotta get,
Mr.
if I enter a plea, I can't plea to go home.
Mr. Shaw, just if you stop talking, I can explain something to you. Okay, thank you. Are you on probation, Mr. Shaw?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. If you entered a plea today, it would be an adjudication of guilt and credit time served. Did you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am. Right now.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you look at the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, ma'am. Time.
All right, Mr. Shaw, I'm going to
have
accept
no
your plea,
question.
adjudicate you guilty. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I had no question, ma'am. I don't have
What?
No, I was telling you I had no question. I thought
You don't have any questions? Okay. Mr. Shaw, as I was saying, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. You'll have to pay court costs. Those will be due by May 7th of 2021. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. God bless you.
Your Honor, the next person, April Zitko, she bonded.
Okay.
Oh. Huh? No.
Mr. Alston?
He's coming, Your Honor.
Okay.
He's right here, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name.
D'Angelo Austin.
Mr. Alston, this is 20MM 3285. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Alston, did you want to enter a plea on your case today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there an offer, Ms. Fusco?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt. Credit time served, court cost.
All right, it's credit time served, Mr. Alston. Do you want to accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form?
They ain't give me one.
All right. Can you, Mr. Alston, be handed? Thank you, Dexter. Why don't you read that and then let me know when you're ready?
I'm ready, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You'll have to pay court costs, which are due by May 7th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, fine. Oh.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Jason Blunt, Your Honor.
Mr. Blount. Oh, here, this makes sense. These are the writs. Mr. Blount, you were arrested in 20MM 3290 for battery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Can Mr. Blount be placed on pretrial release?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Blount, I'm going to place you on pretrial release. You also have 2 child support writs.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to release you on your own recognizance as to those writs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your hearing date is June 9th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Beginning at 9:30 a.m. You're going to receive an order when you leave here. It's going to give you the information you need to call in to the hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Make sure you call and you call in on time. Otherwise, there'll be a warrant issued for your arrest. You understand?
Yes, I just want to say I apologize about the 2 writs. My mom passed away at the end of February, and I didn't even know I had the court dates, and I just truly apologize about missing it. It wasn't on purpose, okay? That's
All right. Thank you, Mr. Blount. You'll be able to explain that at your hearing as well.
Okay. Just one more question. What is pretrial
Yes, sir.
release? Because I'm not familiar with that terminology.
So,
Pretrial release.
Mr. Blount, instead of posting a monetary bond to be released from the jail, you're going to be supervised by a pretrial release officer while your case is pending in court. So you're going to have to call in and check in with them.
Okay, so I don't have to bond out on that charge?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
So much.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Cyrus Field.
Mr. Field, this is 20MM 3293. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there an offer for Mr. Field?
I don't have one on this one, Your Honor, as there's other things sent to FDLE for analysis, fingerprints, and so forth pending for possible additional charges.
All right, Mr. Field, at this time, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You are to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail, and you must appear at all court dates.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name.
Carmelo Lugo Peruno.
Mr. Lugo, this is 20MM 3274. You were arrested for trespassing and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there an offer for Mr. Lugo?
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court cost, no return to the scene of the trespass.
Mr. Lugo, it's an offer of credit for time served and no return to the scene. Would you like to accept the offer?
No. No.
All right, Mr. Lugo, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You are not to return to the scene of the arrest.
Yeah.
And you are to maintain contact with your lawyer and appear at all court dates, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Tyrone Miles.
Mr. Miles, you were here in 20 MM 3296. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence and in 20 MO 539 for disorderly conduct. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Miles? Oh, looks like Mr. Miles is also on probation in Seminole County.
Your Honor.
Looks like it's in 2019 MM 9413, but I don't have access to that. All right. All right, Mr. Miles, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance today. As to each case, you need to report to probation in Seminole County within 24 hours of your release. I'm assuming that's probably by phone right now, but make sure that you do that regarding your case. But on the resisting officer without violence and the disorderly conduct, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, sir. Thank you. No, I put it on. Yeah.
That's supposed to be that.
Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Yes, it's Tiffany Parsons.
Ms. Parsons, this is 20 MM 3273. You were arrested for trespassing.
Yes, ma'am.
There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Did you want to enter a plea on your case today, ma'am?
Guilty.
Ms. Fusco, is there an offer?
Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, credit time served, court cost, no return to scene of the trespass.
All right. Can we resolve 20 MM 2760 as well?
Yes, Your Honor. The same offer for that one, adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court cost.
Ms. Parsons, do you want to resolve both of your cases today?
Yes, ma'am. I don't plan to return back to the bus station. I plan to return to my son.
Okay. Ma'am, did you read the plea form before court?
The most of it, yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions about anything contained on the form?
Am I able to go home today? Release?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But do you have any questions about the plea form?
So since I have 2 charges of the trespassing, what does that mean for me? Do I have to pay something? Do I have to just not
You will
return?
have to pay court costs on both cases.
Yes, ma'am.
Both of the cases will be over today, and you'll be released from the jail.
All right, ma'am. That sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And ma'am, you're not on probation anywhere for anything, are you?
No, ma'am. I used to be, but not no longer, no more.
All right. I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty as to both cases. Sentence you to 3 days in jail with credit for 3 days time served on 20 MM 2760.
So I get to go home today, correct?
Ma'am, yes. And in 20 MM 3273, I'm going to sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. You're not to return to the Lynx bus station. You'll have to pay court costs in each case. Those are due by May 7th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Elijah Pickard.
Mr. Pickard, this is an out-of-county warrant from Hernando County related to a violation of probation. At this time, sir, your bond is set at none. I'm going to appoint the Orange County Public Defender to represent you on this case so that they can assist you in coordinating on your case with Hernando County.
Yes, ma'am. I also have a question. Does it matter?
Sure.
Does it matter if they got a VOP hold on me when I'm not on probation?
You're not on probation?
I just left here last year for terminating my probation, Your Honor. So I don't understand why was that hold put on me.
Out of Hernando County?
Yes, ma'am.
That's something, I don't have the information in front of me right now. That's something that the public defender will be able to assist you with. And I do know that on these out-of-county cases right now, because they're not transporting the inmates, we are directly reaching out to the issuing judge on these cases to see if they want to modify them in any way. So you kind of have a double layer there of someone looking into the case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, once we hear back from the judge in Hernando County, we'll bring it back to court to let you know what they wanted to do on the case.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Sean Ryan.
Mr. Ryan, this is a child support writ out of Putnam County. Your purge amount is $1,000 at this time. I'm going to check my email really quickly, though, to see if maybe I received some information on your case
Yes, ma'am.
before I let you go. All right, Mr. Ryan, I have not received any information regarding your case. At this time, I will let you know that we'll contact Putnam County to see if they'd like to release you and give you a court date to appear at a later time, given that they're not transporting inmates between the jails.
Okay.
Okay, you also do have the option, if you're able to post the $1,000 purge.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sir. I'm going to keep this for a minute. Is that all right? Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
John Jenkins, ma'am.
Sir, you were arrested in 20 MO 537 for disorderly conduct. I don't have an affidavit. Was probable cause already determined? All right, sir, there's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Judkins, did you want to enter a plea on your case today?
Not sure. Guilty, I guess. I don't know, ma'am. I was just holding a cardboard sign. Took a bottle of water from a car.
Right, I understand.
I
So,
did that.
okay, you have two open cases, or you have actually another county ordinance case that's open, 20 MO 463. Do you want to take care of that case today as well?
I didn't realize I had another one open, ma'am.
You do. You also have an open container case where you were arrested on March 4th of this year.
I thought I had time served for that.
I think you were just released. So, Mr. Judkins, you were released on your own recognizance on that case. It's still pending. So do you want to resolve it today?
Yes, if I can, please. I just like take care of it all. Please.
You also understand you have a pending felony matter too. And that's 20 CF 3490. I'm not going to take any action on it today, but you do have that pending case.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Fusco, did you want to make an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. As to the disorderly conduct case and the open container case, each would be adjudication of guilt, credit time served, court costs.
All right. Mr. Judkins, it's credit for time served on both cases, sir. Did you want to accept that?
Yes, ma'am. Please. Thank you.
All right. And you're not on probation, correct?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty in both cases. I don't know how many days he has on.
On the new one, 3 days. On the old
2 days. All right. On 537, I'm going to sentence you to 2 days in jail with, or 3 days in jail with credit for 3 days time served. In MO 463, I'm going to sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. You'll have to pay court costs on both cases, sir. Those will be due by May 7th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
William Mays.
Mr. Mays, you're here in 20 CF 5447. You were arrested for possession of ecstasy. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Mays, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. And you are to appear at all court dates, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Maverick Mendez, Your Honor.
Mr. Mendez, this is case number 20 CF 5425. You were arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling, criminal mischief, and attempted battery. There's probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 1 is $5,000. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $100, sir. Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Jonathan Osorio, medical.
Ms. Fowler, I'm going to appoint your office to represent him. Do you want to waive his appearance? That's 20 CF 5451. He was arrested for possession of ecstasy. There's probable cause. I'm going to release him on his own recognizance at this time. He's not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription and appear at all court dates. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Samaje Harris.
Mr. Harris, this is 16 CF 15517. You were arrested for violation of probation and for driving without a valid driver's license in 20 CT 335. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. All right, Mr. Harris, on the driving without a valid driver's license, I am going to set your bond at $500. I just reviewed the court file in your violation of probation case. It doesn't look like you have violated your probation in the past. And you're on probation for grand theft of a motor vehicle. I'm going to set your bond at $1,500 on the violation of probation. You need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail. I do see that you just hired a lawyer. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so make sure you contact him within 24 hours of your release. You also need to report to probation within 24 hours. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. No PD. In Odyssey, I saw there was a notice of appearance filed. All right, and it looks like we just have the 33-day motions.
The Russian interpreter.
Your Honor.
Oh, thank you very much. And then for 19 CF 16819, it's a determination of counsel. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. When the defendants come over, are you guys having them fill out the affidavit of insolvency or no?
No, Judge. No.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead then and appoint the public defender's office in 19 CF 16819. And then we have the Russian matter. Did she qualify for pretrial release?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, but she got an immigration hold.
She does have an immigration hold, Your Honor.
Okay. And she's coming?
She's here.
Okay, good.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Do you need the Russian interpreter?
I mean, I can speak English, but just for my confidence, if just in case I don't understand something, I would love to have someone who can assist me in that, so I can completely understand what's happening.
That's fine. If we do the hearing in Russian, though, you can only speak to me in Russian. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Just hold on. We're calling the interpreter now.
Okay.
Okay. Can the interpreter hear me?
It's on hold.
No? What do I hit? Oops. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Okay. This is case number 20 CT 2878. Ma'am, please tell me your name.
And the interpreter is speaking. I wasn't able to write down the case number. You said 2017?
No, 20 CT
Okay.
2878.
And whose names? Madam Interpreters or another ladies?
No, ma'am, I'm sorry. This is, I'm asking you to ask the defendant what her name is.
Thank you for clarifying. I will be accurate since now, absolutely. И слушается дело 20 CT 2878. Я переводчик. И, пожалуйста, назовите свое имя и фамилию.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Соколова Екатерина.
Hello, my name is Sokolova Yekaterina.
Ma'am, you were arrested for driving under the influence.
И, госпожа, вас арестовали за вождение транспортного средства под воздействием алкоголя.
Да.
There's probable cause, and I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
И таков предмет слушания, и я назначу вам государственного защитника, чтобы вас представлял.
Хорошо, спасибо.
Okay, thank you.
At this time, I'm going to place you on pretrial release.
И сейчас я вас отпускаю до предварительного слушания.
То есть я смогу выйти до слушания?
Will you release me?
Yes, you're going to be released today, and you're going to need to check in with a pretrial release officer.
Да, вас сегодня отпустят, и вам надо будет связаться с офицером предварительного слушания.
Да, я поняла, спасибо.
Okay, I understood. Thank you.
Ma'am, you also have an immigration hold.
И также, госпожа, у вас здесь задержка с иммиграцией.
So until that hold is lifted, you will not be released.
И пока вот та задержка не будет снята, тогда до того времени вас не могут отпустить.
А каким образом мне нужно с адвокатом? Вот как это вообще? Потому что у меня, в процессе я недавно начала политическое убежище, так как я с Донецка, с Восточной Украины. И, я не знаю, видимо, какая-то задержка, еще не пошли документы в процесс.
And what can I do in this case? Talk to a defender? Or because I am from Eastern Ukraine, I am from Donetsk, and the documents probably have not gone through for the asylum yet.
So, yes, ma'am, I have appointed a public defender on your criminal case, and I'm sure they can assist you in finding or referring you to an immigration lawyer.
Да, я назначаю вам государственного защитника по уголовному делу, и я уверена, что они вам дадут информацию, как связаться с иммиграционным адвокатом.
И куда меня сейчас отведут? Я буду здесь продолжать находиться?
So, will I be detained here, or where are you going to take me now?
Yes.
Да.
То есть пока я не свяжусь с адвокатом, и он не свяжется с судом и с властями, я никуда не выйду. Правильно понимаю?
So, until I talk to a defender and until I talk to an immigration attorney, I will not be able to get out of here?
I'm not sure, ma'am. I don't know how long the immigration hold will remain in place.
Извините, госпожа, я не могу вам ответить на этот вопрос. Я не знаю, как долго иммиграционная вот эта приостановка будет действовать.
То есть, что мне в данном случае лучше всего сделать?
So what do I need to do in this case? What is a better way to handle it?
Contact your lawyer.
Обратитесь к адвокату.
Хорошо, я поняла.
Okay, I understood.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Всего хорошего, до свидания. Now the interpreter is speaking. Anything else from you at this moment?
No, ma'am. Thank you very much for your help.
You're welcome. Thank you for using our services and have a good day too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Ms. Fusco, are you ready on the 33 day? Yes, Your Honor. All right, 20 CF 4297, John Hedridge.
Yes, Your Honor. On May 5th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. 20 CF 4233, Nathaniel Wesley.
Yes, Your Honor. On May 5th, there was a notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. 20 CF 4232, Nathaniel Wesley.
Yes, Your Honor. On May 5th, there was a notice of non-filing.
And that'll be granted. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Thank you all for your help.
Have a good one.
All right. Have a good one. Take care.
You too. Be
Bye, everyone.
Because she's been working 2.5 years here. And she got 14 years of time.
She better be glad with it she had.